Thank you for joining me. Today we will compare the character designs of Marvel Rivals to Concord. Both of these games are live service hero shooters with basically the same gameplay concept. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Jerrel. I develop video games for a living. I have credentials in training and assessment and have worked in the past as an educator and trainer, managing major industry events and conducting training and workshops. The intention of this video is to help educate and train artists to understand the mistakes made by Concord's development team, as well as the high level of competence and mastery that makes Marvel Rivals characters' designs so appealing. There are people on the internet that are throwing tantrums right now asking why Marvel Rivals is successful while Concord was shut down and discontinued after only 12 days. This video will offer you information so you can come to your own conclusions. Or if you simply just enjoy character designs and looking at cool characters from video games, then this video is for you. Now, before we get started, I want to make something very clear. I am not here to disparage or insult Concord, nor anyone who enjoyed the game. If you have enjoyed Concord, then good for you. Enjoy what you enjoy. This video is not here to insult or belittle you. However, unfortunately, online culture has been brainwashing and conditioning people to behave like fragile children who throw tantrums anytime someone does not agree with them. If you cannot handle an adult stating factual information in an unbiased manner, then please take this moment to call your mommy or daddy to help you close this video and find the Cocomelon channel for you. If I see your childish tantrums in the comment section below, then I will know that your mommy and daddy are ignoring you right now, and that's why you've turned out the way you are. I will gladly respond to you respectfully with a link to a Cocomelon video to help you calm down. Now, as a disclaimer, I do not like every Marvel character. I personally find some of them just boring to me in terms of their design and their story. I liked some of the Concord designs a little bit. It is okay for you and I to disagree. It is okay for you and I to like and dislike different things. We can still be respectful and we can listen to each other despite how different we are. People can still be friends and family despite being so opposite to each other. Contrary to what the internet tells you, you do not have to act like a baby just because someone has different worldviews than you or likes something you dislike, or even dislikes something you like. Before we get started on the character analyses, we need to make something very clear, that you understand the concept that fidelity is not quality. Art is entirely about communication. It is the sharing of a message, idea, or feeling. Fidelity means how much detail there is in the work. Any idiot can keep adding infinite detail through brute force, increasing fidelity. Expression is infinitely more important than fidelity, and fidelity is one of the less useful aspects when it comes to visual communication. A novice falsely believes that fidelity is quality, and that if something has tons of detail and looks realistic, that means it is good. What is important with art is expression. With these comparisons, I have attempted to match characters up with similar characters, either in terms of design or seeming utility. I have not played either of these games. I only have seen the character designs. I have some videos in the past if you would like to see them. I will link in the description when it comes to analyses for these character designs. Now, something that both of these characters have similarly is that their outfits are quite form-fitting. They are expressing a sense of quite a thin character, which in video game design language generally tells us that a character is quite fast. So what is most important again is expression. What are you saying to the viewer or the audience, and how are you saying it? There are many different rules that you should follow when it comes to visual art, but of course, rules are made to be broken if you understand the rules. There are fundamentals when it comes to form and design. When you have a form-fitting outfit like both of these characters, your form is very easy to keep under control because you're basically looking at the body of the character when the clothes are so form-fitting. So we're going to perform just a small exercise here to have a look first at our tonal dynamic of these characters. So what we'll do is go ahead and turn these characters into grayscale, thusly. And we will have a look at the tonal dynamic. Now, you can see the difference of the dark tones, the midtones, and the highlights. On this character, it's quite reserved, but you can see that there are some midtones here. There's actually 2 midtones here that are quite implemented in quite a subdued way. But you have your darkest tone here, which makes things interesting, and your lightest tones are here, here, and here. And this is quite interesting. It's implemented in an interesting way. We also have the light tones here. It gives the character symmetry, but in a very organized way. And what makes this character so interesting to look at is the way in which that asymmetry is actually quite balanced. All the light tones happen to be on this side of the character. We have it leaning here. We have this arm. And we have this actually sloping down this way. We have some sort of midtones here. But we have a breakup because the tone of the shorts here, or short shorts as is the technical term, is quite similar to the skin. You can see that they do break that up by having midtones here as well to break that up, and that keeps that looking interesting. This character has quite a reserved design, which is quite nice because it's easy to go overboard. Again, fidelity is not quality. Just adding more and more details does not make something better. We do have this also neat little motif that I've just noticed just now. It's kind of neat. I'm not sure what that is, but I do like that. And of course, we have our dark tones. As you can see, the jacket, and of course, this side, and the glove as well, and the legs here. So it's quite interesting to look at tonally. We're going to perform a little exercise here and just blur this. And as you can see, as we blur this character, we can still discern the form of the character. We can still see the body, but because of those tonal values, we can actually still see and understand the form and the shape. The shapes make up the form. You can still discern the individual shapes here. And as you blur that, you can see this is still easy to understand. This is a strong character design in terms of the tonal values. And when you restore the color to it, it is obviously interesting to look at. Now that we have our colors back, you can see, oh yeah, this is very nice. You do have the blue buckles here. Along the knee, you have some blue there. And you see this part is blue, along the waist is blue. We have asymmetry on the blue, and then we have a lighter, sort of a teal on the inside, which adds even more dynamic in terms of color. So I don't want to give a rating on this, but this design is so strong. I have to give this a 10 out of 10, even though I'm not doing ratings, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm unfairly criticizing any of the particular designs that will be here today. Next, we'll take a look at this character here. And again, we'll just go ahead and make that grayscale just to get that out of the way here. So we can see that this has a strong distribution of the dark tones. It's in layers here. And then that's all, and of course there. So you have vertical and horizontal layers when it comes to the tonal distribution. If we look at the tonal distribution of the characters here, the dark tones are restricted to one area here. These are the only dark tones. We have the lightest tones here. This is very bright, and it looks like the only other place there are the light tones are just here. So there's an extremely poor distribution of tonal values. There is a lighter mid-tone here, but let's see, it sort of is used in these areas here. And then we have a mid-tone here as well that is still extremely similar. What would have improved the visual cohesion of this is to use those lighter tonal values. So our light tonal values here that we see at the very, very bottom, front bottom of the unit, is to have expression of those tonal values somewhere here in the middle, and then a stronger representation of that tonal value somewhere along here. But because the place where we look for the eyes, that's generally where we are drawn to because we are human beings, unless those of you are AI out there watching and learning. Good luck to you, I guess, but we look for eyes, us humans do. And because there's nothing there, this is already such a disconnected design in terms of relatability. Then you have this is quite dark as well. It's a dark mid-tone there. There should have been some usage of this brightest light tone prominently on the hands somewhere, as well as there. The darkest tones should have been used somewhere else. Like this could have been the darkest tone. Like even a small adjustment. I'm not going to get too much into just making adjustments here because we have a lot of material to cover today and I don't want to keep everyone late in class. But even something simple like even something simple as darkening that and that builds visual cohesion with that section there. Then you could have had knee pads that were darker as well. And you can see that will add more visual cohesion because now we have use of layers for tonal values. We would have it in the low area, the middle, and the high, but we do not have that in that design. So let's go ahead and restore this all to color and then have a look at our colors here. We have an excellent use of color from Luna Snow when we have white, blue, and black. Her skin color is used as a neutral tone. Now in general, black and white as colors on a character design are used as palette cleansers. They do not have strong presence on their own. They allow artists and designers to blend other colors together and not clash. They are used in a way that is well considered and does not make the character look bland in any way. It helps the blue and the white stand out. On NPC, we have, oh my god, I just realized this. We have so we have use of blood red here. Then we have Christmas red, which is bizarre because they're technically the same color but wildly different tones of color. We have that bright use of white. Oh my god, I'm just noticing this now. So there's a technique called evocation, and you're as an artist, you use it whether you understand it or not. You are using evocation. You evoke the idea of something, whether you want to make something look like, say for example, you wanted this to look like a Christmas bauble, you would use bright Christmas red and white, or bright red and green, and that would evoke the sense of Christmas. They've evoked a Christmas color scheme here in a confusing way. And then you have a blood red here that drapes over orange. And so this is basically this is a disaster. This is a major crime when it comes to color palettes, is using something like orange and then an adjacent color like red. Putting red next to orange like that without really understanding how those colors interact is a real mess. We have light gray, we have medium gray, and just looking at the shapes here, you have, for some reason, you have a use of trim here that draws attention to the belly button, and this is, I need to move on, we have a lot of material to cover, but this is an example of fidelity is not quality. Adding more details, these details don't say anything about this character. I do kind of like it. There's this leather here with this orange trim, but then you have Naztec lines, which don't make you have Naztec lines which don't make sense. You have this ribbed trim which draws your focus to the belly button, and I don't understand what they want us to think about that. You have a small pouch here, but what is the pouch for? Is this ammunition? Does this hold ammunition for this very large armament here? So this is a design which really, it doesn't, there's a lack of visual cohesion, and when it comes to coherent visual storytelling, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next character. Coupling. We have Hot Topic and Magic. I don't know anything about magic, but I picked these characters because they both shop at Hot Topic. You can see, and this character has a default where it's a similar sort of torn leggings, which I suppose is stylish. Um, we're not going to do this test for every character, but we will do that for some just so we can make the point here. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and have a look at the distribution of our tonal values. With magic, it's quite interesting. I believe this is quite a subdued design. I believe it is to draw attention to the sword, which has the highlights, and I would suspect that a character who is magical has significant particle effects. You can see that her skin tone is being used as the highlights. We have the dark tone of the pants here, the dark tone of the leg armor, and then we have the midtones here. I am not entirely sure if it is just the lighting, but this appears to be the midtone, and then we have a dark tone in this chest armor. We also have dark tones here, and then we have basically the hair is very similar, but light midtones for the hair. So this is visually cohesive. It is coherent. It does have cohesion. I do really like the spike visual motif here. So this is visual cohesion, not just with tones, but with visual language. We have spikes here. These have a similar shape and form to the spikes. We have spikes on the armor here. We have spikes on the leg thing. We have spikes on her Hot Topic collar. Spikes there and there. This is a cool design. I dig it. It's not my favorite. I don't think I've ever purchased an item from Hot Topic, but that's fine. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the distribution of tonal values on Hot Topic here. So we have her skin tone being used as the highlight, and good God almighty, this is bright. This is very bright here. These are extremely bright. They stand out, but we do have the highlights here as well on the belt buckle. A little bit of a highlight here. For some reason, her face is a mid-tone. So her face, so those are the highlights. You can see the distribution of the lightest tones. Okay, our mid-tones, we have our face, we have our bag, mid-tones here, and this is like a light mid-tone. Okay, so that's not too bad when it comes to the distribution of mid-tones. And then we have asymmetry, which is cool. Asymmetry is a shortcut to make your characters' designs look interesting. Then we have our dark tones here. Here. And for some reason, the hair, yeah, it's like a dark tone. So that's a distribution of our tonal values there. Let's go ahead and just step on back. We'll have a look at our colors here. So I picked this because this is actually, when it comes to color distribution, this is actually one of the best in Concord. Purple is the underlying theme here. We have the dark purple here. I do like the glossier patch on the side of that material there. I think that looks pretty cool. You have a very light lilac here. This is a rare example of visual cohesion when it comes to the color palette, because you have the same color of the sleeve. It matches the skirt, and it matches the bag hat. I don't understand young people fashion. This is quite good. This is one of the best visual decisions they've made in all of Concord, is the color of the hair. And actually, I'll step back just to clean this up a little bit. The color of the hair actually matches the patch, the glossy patch on the shorts here. So that's pretty good. That's decent. So that's one of the better ones. Yeah, you know what? But what is that? Okay, I'm looking at it. Uh-oh, this is getting a little worse the more I look at it. So there are stripes here for, I don't understand what the thought process was behind the stripes. And then there's a bright red that sticks out. Oh, good God. So that red sticks out significantly for no reason, and nowhere is it used anywhere else on the character. So this loses points for the cohesion on that. It's just, again, it's fidelity. It's adding detail. It's adding more without understanding why. So that's hot topic. I want to take a look at magic though. So look, this is a pretty good design for Concord. I want to take a look at Magic's other form. I do understand she has a form here. Okay, so I just want to compare this to... Oh, that's cool. That is cool as heck. Okay, so I haven't played the game. I don't understand this process. This looks cool as hell. So the armor seems to change a fair bit, right? It's not the same armor. I'm just trying to see if it is the same armor. Very cool. This is such a cool design. I don't understand the mechanic. I do see that the sword changes here. I don't really have much to say about this. Again, it's still not one of my favorite designs. I think the other characters are much better than Magic, but this is really cool. I love the glossiness on the trim of the armor there. It's difficult to get armor on females to look good, because with character designs for females, having a female look bulky just is not good. It's just clunky. You want to accentuate the form of female characters because that's what looks cool. It's what looks good. This is an example of armor on a female character that just looks fantastic. This is so cool. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next group of characters. We will be taking a look at Big Bertha and Magneto. And I'm trying to be fair to both games here. I feel this Magneto design is the worst. By far, this is the least interesting. And it's still okay. It's still competent. It is just very boring. So I'm not a huge fan of the Magneto design here. But it is competent. What the Magneto design does, it does well. It needs to tell us the form of the character, the shapes that make up the form. There's nothing weirdly distracting here, except for these buttons. I don't understand why he has a power button on his crotch. But I think maybe if I played the game, that's something that you learn about the lore, but it's not something that I know from my experience with X-Men. He has these circles here, which, again, the power of evocation. It reminds me of Thor, and I don't know why they want to remind me of Thor, because when I see those buttons, it evokes the imagery of Thor. And then a power button. But there is a decent use of color. This just needs way more color. We have the red on the helmet here. Again, the red is represented here on the gauntlets, and then a little bit here. This is not enough color. This needs significantly more use of that color. I will just very briefly show what a difference it can make if you just use the colors distribution here. I'm just going to quickly look at this, and I'm trying to understand their thought process as designers here. It seems like they're only using the red as trim. So what if we sort of... And again, I'm not saying that I am a better artist than these people. I'm not saying that I would do a better job. They have done a fantastic job on this. What they have here is really brilliant. I have a lot of respect for what they've done. I'm just want to see if it would look a little bit better if they had used a bit more color on Magneto. Let's go ahead and put some red on that. And as George Lucas once said, you can go too far in a few places. What we'll do is his pants. We'll take his pants, his leg section, and we'll make that the same color as his accent. They're using this as an accent color. So, wow. Huh. Let's make his arm thing. Let's just color that. And look, you can take things too far, right? You can see you can take it too far. We'll go ahead and just use red down there as well. Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah, I personally like this design. I do like the character of Magneto. I do like the X-Men very much. I'm going to go ahead and remove my mods here. And we're back to this. Again, this is a totally competent design. It's not sloppy. It's not messy. It does what it needs to do, but it's just not interesting to look at. Even tonally, it's quite flat. This is the flattest design in all of Marvel Rivals when it comes to tonal distribution. So I'm not a huge fan of that. Let's go ahead and have a look at Big Bertha. And again, we want to bring up the topic of evocation. You evoke the memory, the thought, the idea of something I know exactly what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a human with a power button on his crotch. The buttons make me think of Thor. This looks more like a Thor kind of situation to me. But when I look at Big Bertha, I see intestines. What I see here, those are intestines. And I don't really understand, why does the artist want me to think of intestines? Next, what is extremely prominent as a visual feature is this. Now, we are all adults here, so you may feel free to giggle and laugh, but this is something that belongs on a man. Men have this. From my understanding, this is a female character. So I don't understand why we have evoked the imagery of male parts on a character. I don't understand what they want to say with the intestines, and because of that visual imagery, we are primed to view similar shapes similarly. So now I can't help but think that there are intestines all over this character. There's intestines here, intestines here. What is also confusing is the internal logic. Why does this character have handlebars? This is for the playground. This is for the jungle gym, the monkey bars. Why does this character have monkey bars on the knees? I don't understand the lore. Maybe that's a character grabs on, another character grabs onto the handlebars on the knees and they blast off into space. I don't understand. It also looks like they missed coloring on this, because I do know that this is the default color for this character, so it looks like they missed coloring because nowhere else on the character is that represented. So we have there's a purplish hue to this and a purplish hue here and here, but then we have a greenish, or more like a brownish hue to the dark colors of the gloves. So we have two dark tones that clash entirely. This is a browner dark tone, and then this is a purplish dark tone. So, Jesus Christ, this is, we have a Raiden hat. We evoke the shape of the Raiden hat from Mortal Kombat. We have the Raiden eyes, the soulless, empty white eyes. I understand that Magneto is a Holocaust survivor. This character looks like the one that did the Holocaust. So let's go ahead and move on to our next pairing of characters. We have Just Jennifer and Black Widow. These are two characters that are similar in form and function, but holy crap, this looks cool. I'm just looking at this. This is really cool. Whoa. All right, I'm just going to point out the excellent use. Reds are being used as both a highlight and a midtone. Somehow they've accomplished that. Like, this gray is sort of partially a midtone, but the fact that they have red here on the fingertips, the red here evokes the imagery of eyes of a spider. The shapes they've used for the red here evokes the legs of a spider, because her name is Black Widow. Of course, that is a visual and thematic motif. She has a cool logo here, but also the logo is represented in the form of the female body, which is an hourglass. The form of the female body is an hourglass. We have an hourglass here, having consistent shapes and visual motifs. Brilliant. We also have the hourglass up here. Wow, that is just a cool way to have that. We have little bits of red there. I'm assuming that this stuff maybe glows in game. Excellent use of the accent colors there. The accent colors are used so prominently that it basically becomes a midtone. So cool. The material on the legs here, they understand the use of material. This appears to be some sort of matte cloth, but we have a glossier material for the knee pad, and of course the legging here, but then a little bit of a breakup of material here. Excellent, excellent. We have a seam line, which is sort of piping. Yeah, that is glossy, so it gives texture to her legs. So everything about this helps us understand the shapes that make up the character and the overall final how we view the form. All of this contributes to that. Excellent. 10 out of 10. I didn't realize how good this was. It's such a simple design. Again, it doesn't matter if something is simple. Simple is easy to understand, and it's not actually that simple. They make it look simple. It is significantly more complex than it actually is, but because everything is well considered and implemented well together, there's synergy between the various elements, it makes it look simple, but it's actually very complex. Let's look at Just Jennifer. I hear that fans refer to as Just Jen. I've been referring to her as Jennifer. Okay, so Just Jen. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so we have Jesus Christ. We have a hoodie. We have a hoodie and marshmallow armor. So we have a hoodie and marshmallow armor. We have these massive shorts. Okay, we have massive shorts. I'm trying to understand what I'm looking at here. So you have these massive shorts which have sort of piping here. The use of trim is very good for character designs, but I don't know what they're trying to do here. So there's tassels? There's tassels on the shorts? Okay. So we have big cargo shorts. We have slime armor. We have slime armor. We have marshmallow armor. I think there's a little bit of slime armor on the sides. A little bit of slime armor here. And then we have the marshmallow armor again down here. And then we have Ninja Turtle toes? No. No. Oh, God. We have Ninja Turtle toes beneath the marshmallow armor. What is this? What is that? Is this a fishing license? I think she's wearing her fishing license on her arm there. We have some kind of leather. It's like a plastic armor underneath that. This is a disaster. We need to move on. Okay. We have two very similar characters. We have Hulk and Bulk. Hulk is the easiest character to make boring. It's easy to make Hulk look plain because he doesn't have the benefit of interesting, cool, intricate clothing that the other characters have. So the fact that they've made him look interesting is already an accomplishment. We have a strong expression of purple, which, as we know, is one of Hulk's defining colors. A little bit of purple, but they make use of this. I don't know what this belt is, but it was an excellent choice. I assume that it illuminates during gameplay. It is not clashing with the rest of his color. It is the same color as his skin, but it is a highlight. So now we at least have a highlight on the character here on his power belt. And then we have the dark tones of his hair and his pants. And it's simple. That's all you need. But you understand the various shapes of the characters, and all of the shapes contribute to a form that you understand. This is such a simple design. There isn't that much to say about it. Excellent use of color. You understand what you're looking at. You know what's going on. Let's have a look at Bulk. I think this is the Russian alt because he's got a hat. Oh no. This is a disaster. I don't understand why he has purple paint. Is this a Splatoon reference? Wow, this man has hairy arms. That's not how you treat a gun. That's not how you hold a gun. Okay, so we have fishermen. I don't know. I don't understand visually, thematically what they're saying with this. When you have a character design, you are saying something. You are expressing something. He's a fisherman, but the ocean is purple, or he's a butcher and he's butchering animals with purple blood. We have a very bright yellow. It's good that they've layered this. That's good. We have yellow here, even though it is darker. Oh my God, I'm so desperate for this to be better. I'm just going to give this a pass and say that's pretty good. It would have been a better decision if this was the same tonal value as the pants. His skin color, clashes really terribly with whatever color this is. It clashes with whatever color his face is. So everything is pulling your attention away from the face. You need to visually guide your viewer through the character. There are two major points of focus on Hulk. We have the belt, which we are going to look at, and then we have the head. But the form of the character draws us up to a point, and it draws us, our focal point is the face. We know where we are supposed to be paying attention. Look at bulk. Where are you looking? Is it here? Are you looking at his crotch? You shouldn't be looking at someone's crotch, but it's not your fault if you are, because that's where you're being told to look. Everything pulls you away from the face here. Even if you tried to look at the face, you have these highlights on his facial hair. These shiny things pull you away from that. The shape of this pulls you down. These pull you down, and then you're stuck looking at this guy's crotch. I can't. Please, let's move on to the next character. We have Tom Bombadil and Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is such a simple design. I think I've covered him previously in a video. I don't want to keep retreading similar ground, but the use of the highlight color, which is this bright yellow, is well considered. It really helps us look at the different points of the character. It gives cohesion. We have visual cohesion here. His body is yellow. His hair is similar to his skin tones because that's just how the character is. We see the use of red here quite sparingly, but I believe it is also quite prominent on his back, which is why they don't use red anywhere else. That would result in cluttered, a visually cluttered look. I really adore the angularity on this to offset the roundness, because we have quite round shapes. They're very round. We understand that. And they're offset by this jagged sharpness here. And it gives the character a dynamic, rough look. But if you have a look at the shoulder pads here, they are quite bright and they draw your attention, but they also point you up like this. They point you and bring your focus to the character's face. Very simple. I really appreciate it. You have the use of these things that help balance out. If we didn't have that, the yellow stuff, it would look quite dull down there. It would have less cohesion. That's great. Look, everyone has seen this guy. Everyone knows Tom Bombadil. They know the blue jacket. I want to look at some alts because I think, I haven't had a close look at them before, but this is just a nightmare design. This is just an absolute nightmare. But I think some of his other alts look better. I'll just briefly go over this, that if we just grayscale that, this is a highlight. This is a highlight tone that takes up far too much space on the character's body. The shape, what does it say about the characters? The shapes they're using, the form, the armor, the color choices. There's a light blue armor on a light blue jacket. I'm going to give this a chance. I think the alts might be better. Oh no. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. You can't, no, it can't, I refuse to believe that this is an actual alt. It can't be. You can't, oh my God. Okay, so the shapes that they've chosen accentuate this character's bulge. These are the shapes they've chosen for this, and you can't help but be drawn to the definition here. What is up? The color choices we have are... What color is this? It's sort of like a old toothpaste with the bright orange gloves, the brown, which is too different a color from his skin tone. It's too different a color, but too similar a tone, which is not good, because that clashes with his skin tone. It doesn't complement his skin tone. It clashes with it in a terrible way. Because in your mind, it gives you a sense that if you understand that this is what the character's skin tone is, why is this also basically... It's too similar. And it is visually saying that that's part of his body, like that's part of his flesh, subconsciously. There is some visual cohesion. What are these shoes? Oh no. Oh no. Look, they get points because the colors, I mean, it's basically the same. They get points for that. But the shape, what are the shoes? The shape of the shoes, what are they saying with it? That he can't bend down to tie his shoes, so he has to use Velcro? Is that what it is? He puts his socks up on the outside of his pants. This can't be real. Look, we're going to take a look at one more alt. Oh God. Oh God, no. No. The orange gloves don't blend with anything. They don't blend with that. Why do they have the vomit green armor, vomit green plastic armor on the vomit green, on the vomit, on the vomit? Please, we have to move on to the next one. I just want to speed through this. I want to hurry up. Okay, we have Starizard. He's a lizard man versus Star-Lord. This is quite a simple design for Star-Lord. It's not my favorite version of Star-Lord, but it's competent and it's fine. You have the midtones of the blue, which look great. The highlights going through the jacket. We have the bright power circles here as forms of highlight as well. This lower section is just, it's a bit boring to me, and it looks more like mechanized legs, so I don't know if he's had his legs cut off. It's not my favorite design. I would like to see more blue in the legs here. It's not my favorite. I would say it's fine. It's fine. It's not my favorite version of Star-Lord. If we have a look at Starizard, oh my God. Okay, so we do have some visual cohesion with the use of hot lilac. We have hot lilac here on his life preserver, but why? So there's red here. Okay, so we have red, but we do have it on the collar, which is good. That's visual cohesion. But why didn't they use it? Why didn't they use red somewhere else? This could have worked. This design could have been better with just a little bit more consideration for distribution of tonal values. I don't understand why they used electric lilac here on a light purple armor, on like a light purple skin tone, on light purple pants. I'd like to move on, but we have some alts to look at, so we're going to take a look at these characters' alts. This is Star-Lord from based on the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, specifically the third one, and I very much like this design. Excellent, simple shapes that are easy to understand. The form of the character, very easy to understand. We know what we should be looking at, and this little bit of yellow helps the emblem stand out. For visual cohesion, they used the same color and tone on the belt there for some visual cohesion. I would have liked to see a little bit more on the boots here. If they had just taken a little bit of red and used it on the boots, this is fine. I like it. The pants, again, the bottom area is just a little bit boring. Oh, good God. This is, oh God, this is a nightmare. They have chosen hot magenta beard, lilac armor on teal, a teal t-shirt, and teal bandages. We have teal bandages. Oh, they have visual cohesion. Oh, thank God they have something here. Oh, wow. They have something. They have bandages on the legs, but I don't understand why. But they do match. They match the shirt. Oh God. And then he's white. His skin is white now. White white skin on with magenta hair spikes. And then like a yellow cream color on the boots. Oh my God. They're giving the color pink a bad rap. Like, pink is not a bad color. Pink is a color that both men and women can wear. They're ruining the color pink, right? You can have a pink alt. I don't want people to think that you can't have a pink alt, because pink alts can be very cool. You have to do the pink alt correctly. I'll go ahead and just quickly switch to my pink alt and I'll show you. There, look. A pink alt does not need to be bad. It does not need to be too loud. It doesn't need to be complicated. You keep things simple. As an artist, as a designer, you have to understand that colors have volume to them. And pink has one of the highest volumes. It's one of the loudest colors. Blue has less volume. It's a quiet color. It's quite reserved and soft. And what they've done here is they've used colors that are all very loud. This is a loud color. This is a loud color, and this is also a loud color. So why they chose to use a white skin tone on all of that in combination with whatever is going on here. For my tie, as my accent color, I've chosen purple. It is adjacent to pink, but it is a dark enough tone that it is separate from it. And then it has a gold detailing trim on that to also complement the gold flare, the chain, and the gold ornament there. They go hand in hand. You don't need too much detail. You just need the right amount of flare. If you have too much flare, the colors are too loud, it's a visual mess. Okay, I think these are two similar characters in that they are armored. Iron Man is very simple. This isn't one of my favorite Iron Man designs, but it's very visually coherent. It does exactly what you need to do. It's hard to go wrong with an Iron Man design, but it looks fine. I think it looks pretty good. I covered this design in one of my other videos. I'll link in the description if you'd like to see that. But the fact of the matter is that there are just enough details to make the character look interesting without looking cluttered and confusing. I understand that this is probably a joint where his knee needs to bend. We have similar visual motifs and visual communication that this is probably where he needs to bend his limbs. It's sort of communicated here, this darker area, that's not armored because it needs to be more flexible. So there is internal logic here. It makes sense. We're looking at the character and we can understand what they are trying to tell us visually. But he still looks quite armored, quite strong. He has the shoulder pads. Now I chose these two because they're similar in terms of what they are trying to achieve. Armor pads, but for some reason along the joints, it's thicker. You see, like, it's padded and thicker around the joints for some reason. I can't tell where the consistency is in terms of the material that they are using for the characters, but they do have some visual cohesion with the orange here, the orange here, and then the orange for the helmet. But there is sort of a shiny garbage bag material that is used here. And it looks like the garbage bag material is used here. All right, you know what? They get some points for that. Then you have these rubber gloves, which do not seem to be consistent. There's no other rubber material used. There is this sort of plastic nylon armor with yellow trim, which is good. That's a good detail, good to use trim. And then we also have that used here. We have a leather on the boots that doesn't appear anywhere else. So we have leather boots. That material is not used anywhere else as well. We have the orange plastic, which isn't used. It's only used in this area. And I guess you could hold your fishing license on there. And the colors are... Gee, this is a nightmare. I'm trying to understand their choices here because we have a sort of a light brown, which is similar to this orange, which is already similar to the yellow. So the accent, the highlights, what is this? What is that? What is that? I'm going to zoom in and enhance here. It looks like it slides back and forth. That's kind of what it looks like. I can't tell what that is. Like a tennis ball? On to the next one. We have Psylocke and Forehead. Now, I chose alts for these characters that I thought were their better looks, that were more interesting. I quite like this Psylocke. Again, we're just very briefly going to go through this since I don't want to repeat too much information. But of course, we have the dark midtones there. We have the expression of the color and the tonal difference, tonal dynamic in horizontal lines. And of course, it occupies such a large part of her body here. So this is a design that could very easily be quite boring. This is one where you could go wrong. And it can be quite dull because there's too much. But we also have the red sash, which breaks things up, so it is much more interesting to look at. I would personally like to see more tonal dynamic on her arms. I do like the shape, this sort of butterfly look here on her neck area, which looks really cool. Again, breaking up the tonal monotony there. I think this is a pretty great design. It's so cool to look at. It's not over the top. We have a little bit of the silver here on the thighs, and it is also represented here on the legs, which is pretty cool. I wonder if she has any on her arms that I can't see, but I would have liked to see some silver there just a little bit. This is a simple design. It doesn't take things too far. Very cool. I like that very much. Let's go ahead and have a look at Forehead here. This has visual cohesion and asymmetry, which is pretty good. But here's the problem. The color choices are this basically blinding white. I don't understand why they would have chosen a color that blows out like this under lighting. So you get very little detail because the color just blows out. Then you have intestinal tubing here and here. I do like the asymmetry of the jacket. I do like that. I like the different use of tonal values here with that stripe. But they have toothpaste teal, blinding white. They're, you know, the red that they use is good that they chose a softer red here. We have a red sleeve there. But then for some reason, we have cream knee pads, and I don't understand because they're extremely similar color to the pants. And it would have been very easy for that to just make it similar to the intestinal tubing. If that was darker like that, it makes the character have a just more tonal distribution, tonal dynamic that helps the character look more interesting and look better. A small change like that helps it just look better because you have more tonal dynamic and more distribution of tones. Having very similar tones and very similar colors next to each other is visually makes things very messy, and it's just uncomfortable to look at. And there's again a similar toothpaste teal on the boots, except that it's for some reason not quite the same as that. This should have been the same color as that. It would have been more have. It's breaking my brain. It would have had more visual cohesion. And for some reason, we have a Mega Man helmet with gold. We have a Mega Man helmet with a gold and some teeth coming down. Those look like teeth. There's a toothpaste teal gem in the middle. And I don't understand why they chose purple, because it does not complement any other color here. Let's go ahead and have a tally count of the color choices that they've chosen here. Okay, white, toothpaste teal, maroon, her skin tone. She has a darker skin tone. And then this cream. Then we have the intestinal tubing. And then we have her hair, which is black. Her gloves are gray. We have hot magenta for her glasses. Then we have gold. Also, we have the purple of her Mega Man helmet. Then we have the purple of her lips, which does not match anything. This is the number of colors that we have on forehead. Let's go ahead and do a tally count for the number of colors on Psylocke. Let's start with the most important color, which would be basically her armor, her suit. Okay, we have purple. We have silver, which is used on silver, which is a nice highlight. We have red on the sash. We have her skin tone. And we have black for the hair. We have basically 5 colors for Psylocke, even though it doesn't seem like there's that many. There are 5 colors on Psylocke. There are 12 on forehead. Which do you like better? Oh, thank God we're on our last one. Okay. Lastly, we will just very quickly have a look at Warrior 401k and Doctor Strange. This is quite a toned down color scheme for Doctor Strange, and this is my first time really taking a close look at these characters here. Oh, whoa, that is cool. Wow. Oh, I really like this visual motif here. We have leather armor on Doctor Strange with his brown, which is not a color I necessarily relate to Doctor Strange. But then we have the red sash and then this gold ring that is internal logic that tells us, oh, the gold ring must be there to fasten the sash. I like that. And for visual cohesion, it's a visual motif. It's a repeated visual theme, right? We repeat that visual theme with the leather and then the red cloth, and then we have some sort of gold fastener here, but we also have this rope here, which I'm sure someone who understands the lore will say something like, oh, that's the silver rope of Jazander, the World Eater. I'm not fully familiar with all of Doctor Strange's lore. So we have a strong presence here with this visual element. We have the gold trim. Excellent. It's always good to use trim tastefully, but you can see that it's not overly clashing. It doesn't stick out too much. This is sort of a subdued gold that accents the red cape quite nicely. And of course, that trim leads up here and it breaks that visual monotony. We have a double trim on there with the inner line. That's really, really cool. I'll just zoom in on that. The double trim there with the internal line. Nice. That's good detail. Okay. And we have the dark tones there. We'll just very quickly do our tone since our test, since this is the last one here. Yeah, let's have a look. We have our darkest tones here. We have our mid-tones, but a mid-tone there. This is, oh, okay, the cape is actually quite light. I didn't realize that. And that's why he's so dark here. Yeah, but we also have use of vertical lines as highlights as well. Highlight there. Highlight. This is great. Oh, man, this is a great design. The trim, everything is so cool. Okay, let's have a look at 401k. You can see it's very flat, tonally very flat. It does not even feel like there is a dark tone. You have the inside of the cape, but it's not that much darker. You have the midtones throughout the body. this does not qualify as a highlight. This is a highlight. So let's just go ahead and point out our highlights on Warrior 401k. Highlights there, a highlight there, a highlight there. That's a highlight. And this is a nightmare. This is not good. This is kind of a dark tone here. I just don't want to leave off on a low note. Let's have a look at the colors. We have this gorgeous pairing of a nice sort of a blood red there. We have a light brown for the shirt, but it's a similar enough color. Like you can see the light brown is carried on through here, and it's actually, this is the light brown, and then there's a darker brown on the front to add dynamic. Oh, the choices on this are really fantastic. We'll just do a color count. Light brown, dark brown, and then you have that burned gold, and then you have the brown for the leather. You have the skin tone, and the hair is actually the same color as the gloves and the darker brown. So there you go, 6 colors for this guy. Oh, no, hold on. We have this accent here, the whatever that color was. So 7 colors. Okay, and let's just very quickly take one final look at Warrior 401k. Is this hot lime, a hot lime on soft lime, and you never put hot lime on soft lime. So we have hot lime, soft lime, and then burned periwinkle on the inside, the inner midtones. You have a bagginess around her thighs for thick thighs. Again, when it comes to female designs, you have to accentuate the female body, the female form. Do not obfuscate the female form. Do not make the female form look chunky, because it is just visually unpleasant to look at. That's just the rules. That's just how it is. You can, if you understand those rules, then you can break them if you are smart enough, if you are experienced enough. For example, Samus Aran. Samus uses a suit that obfuscates her female form and makes her look like a big, tough, strong bounty hunter, because she is a big, tough, strong bounty hunter. That is the most important thing about Samus Aran. Whereas this design here, the colors, oh no. And then this is a color, this is like cotton candy green, which is different from soft lime, which is again different from this color. And then those hot mini pancakes on her shoes. Oh God. Why would you do that? We're going to do a color count on 401k. Okay, you have this burned periwinkle. You have a darker periwinkle on the inside. Hot lime, soft lime, ice cream lime. You have the back, that cape. Whoa, no. That looks like the back seat of my uncle's station wagon back in 1992. I don't know what that is. I don't know what color that is. This piping here, the intestinal piping, is already another different color. Her belt buckle is a different color. Her skin tone, her bracelet gold, her arm wraps, her shoe pancakes. Okay, hold on. No, they get credit here. This is the same color as this, so that's good. Okay, the zipper trim, the hair, all of that. Oh no, the border on the cape. There is puffiness and a border on the cape. There's too much. There are 15 colors on this character. Doctor Strange has 7 colors. So this is a significantly more focused design. Let me go ahead and clean that up. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope it's been useful to you. Again, the intention here is to help you learn and understand character design and art better, especially when it comes to visual communication, the use of shapes, colors, visual expression. I hope your takeaway here is that fidelity is not quality. Having more details does not make something better. Having more details does not make a character design better. You can see with Concord, they just kept adding more and more details. But detail does not make quality. You can make something worse by forcing too much detail into it, especially if the designer does not understand internal logic. They don't understand that every shape, every visual element says something. And if the creator does not understand that, then it is going to look like visual diarrhea. This has been so difficult. This has been a very difficult video. 401k is a nightmare. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you would like to see some of my other videos that are similar when I look at other character designs, then I will put the links in the description. Thank you very much. I hope your year has been off to a great start. And remember, if you are going to have your own pink alt, anyone can wear pink. Anyone can look all right wearing pink. You don't take it too far, all right? You got to consider the volume, and you don't make the same mistakes of this guy. Your pink alt doesn't have to be bad, all right? Take care of yourselves. Be well.